All right, guys. Hey, welcome. I am so happy to have you guys here to talk all things Portion Fix and answer any questions that you guys might have. Really go through the nitty gritty of the, the program and what's worked for me, how I've been able to get results that are completely sustainable and are interchangeable depending on what my goals are, and not feel like I'm being deprived, not feel like I am eating too much, or it just is completely balanced and has changed everything for me. So, little backstory on myself. My name is Leah. I have been a coach now for a little bit over 3 years. And I found Beachbody at a really low time in my life where I was just giving my all to my job and feeling like there was no time left in the day for me. I was pouring myself into my kids, into my husband, into my job, and really just feeling drained at the end of the day. I had never really struggled with my weight, but I had always had very poor eating habits. I've had struggled with self-image issues and depression and suicidal thoughts and just not feeling good. And I knew that there was more to life, but I felt so stuck. I felt like I was just waking up to go to work for somebody else, to give to everybody else, and come home and never have time for me and go to bed and wake up and do it all over again. And I really wasn't living life at that point. And so I was like, is there anything left? So when I found Beachbody, I was just looking to get in a little bit better shape and make some changes in my life. And it just snowballed into changing basically everything. But I want to hinge on just like the nutritional aspects, because there's so many different sides to my story that I want to kind of stay focused. So for me, my typical eating at that point, my mentality was less is always better. I kind of knew like what foods were better to eat than others, but I really wouldn't put a whole lot of like emphasis or focus on making sure that I was eating certain food groups or not eating other food groups. And yeah, just kind of like playing it by ear. I call it intuitive eating, but it wasn't balanced at all. So my typical morning, I'd wake up, I'd drink coffee. I'd basically have coffee throughout the whole entire day, maybe have a small lunch if I had time. And then I'd come home and I would have this huge dinner. I am a huge fan of pasta. So I would have this like massive bowl of pasta. And I never correlated my nutritional habits between the way that I was feeling about myself. I was tired, like I mentioned, I was depressed. I was always cranky. I suffered from migraines, and I just needed a solution. So all of that ended up going away once I fixed my nutrition. It's pretty freaking amazing. But when I started Beachbody, the workouts come with these nutrition plans. And when I was like, okay, I can do the workouts. And I did at the beginning really struggle to be able to complete a program start to finish. So I felt like I just had too much to handle, but I was starting to make changes in my diet, in the things that I was eating. I was following the plan, sort of. I very much am a control freak. And so I would take the plan, read it, get the gist of it, and then kind of make it my own, if that makes sense. So I still didn't make huge changes. Like my coffee, I would literally have my creamer from here to the top. Okay. And I was adding a whole bunch of sugar to it. And because I was like, do not make me change my coffee. Do not. Another thing that I was like massively addicted to was Skippy peanut butter. And I was like, peanut butter is good for you, right? But there's so many hidden things in processed foods that we have that I didn't realize that I was putting harmful things still into my body. But I wasn't ready to make that full change. So as much as we want to just dive right into a nutrition program, you have to understand and give yourself a little bit of grace that it is a process. If you want to make this sustainable, you need to take those steps, because if you change, my opinion, and if you're anybody like me, if you change too much right away, then it's not going to last. You're not going to sustain it. Now, other people are fully able to do that. Me, not able to do that. I have to do it on my own time, and I have to understand how different foods affect my body, and that's a process. So just understand that we're going through a process here. So it wasn't until about 1.5 years into my Beachbody journey that I started to really dig deep into the nutrition plan and really understand it, and finally get the results that I was looking for. Because I was kind of humming and hawing on both my fitness and my nutrition, I was kind of getting results. I was feeling better. I was definitely making those changes, but I wasn't getting that body that I was looking for. I wanted to look and feel a certain way, and I just wasn't getting there. And so with 80 Day Obsession, when that came out, Autumn, our trainer, really was digging deep into the nutrition plan and making sure that we understand it, because it was the first time that we were getting introduced with time nutrition. Okay. That is her taking her program, Portion Fix, and really breaking it up into, these are the food groups that you're going to be eating at certain times throughout the day to optimize your body, to optimize how your body processes nutrition, and to feel the best. And also the food list too was getting tightened down. And that was a huge benefit for me, because it helped me figure out what foods were best in my body. So also, as she was digging deep and explaining all of this, she also shared something that was a huge impactor on me. So I had always, when I calculate out my nutrition plan, you're in different brackets, A, B, C through I think F. I always calculated into plan A. That's the least amount of food. Okay. That's where I was comfortable eating, because again, I had the mindset, less is always better, right? So Autumn shared, and she is like, I mean, granted, she's super short, but she's super teeny tiny. She had that body that I was looking for. She shared with us that she eats in plan C. So I was like, okay, you know what? What I'm doing is not working for me. It is not getting me the results that I want as much as I want to control it. And that was hard for me to admit. But I was like, you know what? If she's eating in plan C, if she's eating this much food and she's teeny tiny, then I need to trust the process. I need to lean in. And then that's when I first started, I think I started eating in plan B, and then listened to my body and bumped up to plan C. And it really healed a lot of things for me. I no longer fear food. I no longer fear what I'm going to put in my mouth is going to make me fat, is going to make me gain more weight, is going to make me not get the results that I'm looking for. That this is actually going to be better. And it actually kickstarted it so I could lose more weight and get those results that I was looking for. So that being said, I ask you to trust the process. I ask you to make those small changes where you can. You know, I know that you're going to be hard pressed on certain things. I get that. And just understand that your results are going to be indicative of the things that you're putting in your mouth. So I am going to do a screen share here. Okay. Okay. So when you go on to Beachbody On Demand, you're going to see your programs here, okay? So 6 weeks of the work, that's the program that we are working on right now. And you're gonna go into program materials under nutrition, and it's going to have your guide here, okay? So sometimes when you do each program is gonna be different, but when you go through the program, it's going to have you do a calculation. Now this is based on weight, okay? And it's going to tell you for each plan, for each food category, what quantity of food to eat. So, you know, in plan A, you're going to have 3 veggie portions, 2 fruit portions, 4 protein portions, 2 carbs, 1 healthy fat, 1 seeds and dressings, and 1 oils and nut butters. Okay. And then going up depending on which plan you're in. So up to E. I know my dogs are going to bark. But what I use is, this is straight from 80 Day Obsession. And this is what I stick with pretty much no matter what. But I also have learned how to listen to my body on it, to see if I need more food, to see if it's too much food, to, you know, and that's going to come with time. So in here, you're going to do your calculation. You're going to put in your current weight, multiply it by 11. That's going to give you your caloric baseline. That's the amount of calories that you need if you don't do anything throughout the day. Okay. So in here, you're going to calculate your maintenance calories. So, oh, this one is maintenance is actually if you don't do anything. Okay. So you take your caloric baseline, you take that here, add 600 to it. That's going to be your maintenance calories. Now, the majority of the time that we have a goal is that we are looking to lose some weight. And so you're going to take that maintenance calories, pop that in there, and then subtract 750, and that's going to be your caloric target. Okay. You're going to take that number, whatever pops in right here, then go down to the eating plan and then look to see what range you're in that step 3. Okay. Now, if you calculate it and you're on the edge, say you calculate and you're at 1475. Okay. I want you to actually bump up to plan B, because it's not going to be enough calories for you to sustain. In my opinion, plan A is bullshit. And so it's not enough food, especially with the workouts that we are going to be doing. And okay, so you're going to figure out here what plan you're in. And then within let me go back here and show you. Within 80 Day Obsession, under nutrition, you're going to find your eating plan. Now, if you're vegan, we've got your plan here, but I'm going to just talk in the regular eating plan. It's all going to be all the same. So it's going to open up here. I've actually got eating plan C, because that's the eating plan that I eat in right now. And that is, actually did a recalculation today. My maintenance is going to be in plan D, but I've been eating in plan C now for a few months, coming off of my competition. And it's really kind of the sweet spot for me. So if you scroll down here, again, it's going to show you your container counts depending on, tell you the quantity of the containers that you need to eat. And this right here, let me see if I can Oh, I don't need to zoom out. Okay. This right here is really like the key. Give me 1 second. I could have shut the door. Okay. So this is what was the saving grace for me to figure out my foods, because before I would end up, kind of having a free-for-all and not eating enough for breakfast, and maybe having like a yellow for breakfast, and then having lunch was maybe like a red and a green, and then I'd have all these containers at the end of the day. Or I'd get to the end of the day and I'd have like a purple, a blue, and an orange, and go, what am I going to eat with that? This made it super, super easy of telling me when to eat, what food groups to eat together, and how often I should be eating. And it really spaced it out and made it so it's optimizing, understanding my body's needs based on my workout, and then building it around the rest of your day, but not eating too many nutrients of one thing at one time, because there's only so much that your body can absorb of a certain nutrient at one time. If you eat too much of it, it's going to end up going to fat. So even if you're eating a crap ton of vegetables all at one time, it's really useless, because your body can only absorb so many of those nutrients at a single period of time. So that being said, like I said, this is my saving grace. This is what I follow on a day-to-day. Now, depending on if it is closer to my competition time, that's when I really dial it in and I get super strict. I go a little bit more laxed when it's like right now. It's, this is what we call grow season. And I have to have a little bit of that flexibility, because if I don't, then I'm going to lose my mind when I have to be super strict. I hope that makes sense. So what you're going to do in here is you're going to start right here with your workout, okay? And then work backwards and then forwards. So say, for example, you are working out at 7 a.m., okay? Then you want to work backwards and figure out when you need to have your pre-workout meal and your pre-workout supplement, okay? It's advised 60 to 90 minutes before your workout to have your pre-workout meal, which is in this plan consistent of a green, a red, and a yellow, and a teaspoon. So a veggie, a protein, a carb, and a teaspoon, okay? My typical pre-workout meal is I do an egg bake that has bell pepper, onion, tomato for the veggie, sweet potato for the carb, and obviously egg for the protein. And for the teaspoon, I use coconut oil. I bake this, it's a 8-serving bake that I make. I make it once a week. I have it every single morning. It's simple, it's easy, I'm done. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so say, for example, if I'm working out at 5 o'clock in the morning, that means I have to wake up at potentially 3:30 in the morning. You're crazy. Okay, don't stress out. The 60 to 90 minutes is depending on how your body is going to process food. Some people need a longer time to process their food in their stomach before they go work out. Some people need less amount of time. You're going to figure that out as you go. When I first started doing this, I started at that 90-minute block. It really was kind of awful because I was working full time outside of the home. And so I was having to do that wake up, I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I hated it. But I quickly figured out my body can process food much, much faster. And also same with drinking my pre-workout. When I drink my Energize, it usually takes a couple minutes to hit. I don't have to wait that 20 to 30 minutes before it hits. It's going to be a trial and error, so you're going to just need to take some time and figure out what works for your body, okay? So you work out, after your workout, during your workout, you're gonna drink your hydrate. Hydrate is phenomenal at restoring the electrolytes back into your body. I do not work out without drinking hydrate. If I run out of my hydrate and have to drink water during a workout, I'm pretty miserable. I'll do it, but I hate it. So you're going to drink your hydrate during your workout. After you're done working out, within 30 minutes, it has to be within that 30 minutes, or it really is kind of it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. That's not what it's made for. Is when you're going to have your fruit and your recover, okay? That's going to help. That's going to add some protein back into your body super quick to help with that muscle recovery. It's going to help your body recover for tomorrow because you're going to hurt. You're breaking down your body, so you need to get that protein back in there along with that fruit, give you a little bit of sugar. So what I usually do with this is with my recover, I have half a banana that I've frozen and I blend up with the recover. That way I'm getting my fruit and getting my recover at the same time. Now, bananas are really, really great with potassium, and it helps with that muscle recovery as well. So that's another thing that I do, is I try to pick foods that are going to be more beneficial to my body. Okay. Then after you work out, 1 to 2 hours after you work out, you're going to have your post-workout meal. It's going to be the same meal that you have for your pre-workout. Okay. You're going to have, again, that veggie, protein, and carb, and a teaspoon. You're going to see these combinations over and over and over. Veggie, protein, carb, veggie, protein, carb. My body is so used to it now that I always pair these 3 containers up at the same time. Okay. Now, after that, and this you can move around because sometimes you don't always work out in the morning. Sometimes you work out in the evening. Sometimes you work out midday. It just kind of depends. So you're going to space these other 3 meals out. Okay. So you can have option 1, option 2, and option 3 at any time, but they need to be every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day. You could have option 2 first. You could have option 3 first, but you cannot mix up the containers within the option. So you're always going to pair these containers up together because it's going to optimize your nutrition. Okay. So an option here for meal option 1, this is probably where I would have my shake, because I always do my Shakeology with some frozen fruit. So I'll do my vegan vanilla with adding some frozen pineapple. My teaspoon will be my unsweetened almond milk, and I'll have maybe some baby carrots. With meal option 2, this could be, let's see, I might do this one in the evening because I like to have an apple as dessert and with some peanut butter. So I can use the peanut butter as the teaspoon here, and then maybe have a small salad with some chicken and some rice, or broccoli. I do a lot of broccoli on that. And then for the blue, you can have some cheese, you can have some almonds, just, something that's in there. And then meal option 3 is, again, you're seeing that again, that veggie, protein, carb. Veggie, protein, carb. I'm not a huge salad dressing person. So one orange that I like to have quite often is coconut flakes. Super easy. It's tasty. It's kind of dry, but that way you're not getting as many calories as if you were doing a salad dressing. But there's some really great fixate salad dressings that are in the Fix A cookbook. And then 30 minutes before you go to bed, you're going to have your recharge. And that's going to help you, again, with that muscle recovery. It's also going to help you sleep better because we're tearing your muscles apart, that you need to have that repair while you sleep. Anything I want to cover on there? No, seems pretty simple, okay? So what you want to figure out, or what you want to make sure that you're doing, is taking a look at the food list and seeing what's on the list, okay? So on here, you're going to see, I'm not going to scroll all the way down. You're going to see everything that's on the list. Now, can you eat outside of the list? Can. But sticking to the list was really what helped me get the best results that I wanted. Eating at the top of the list is going to get you the most nutrient dense foods, okay? But you're also going to see what works in your body that much better. Now, if you follow this food list, you're going to look on here on your yellows. A lot of it is very clean carbs, okay? We do have what's called a refeed day that's built within 80-day obsession, and that's where you're eating more what we call the dirty carbs, where it's not going to be as good for you. That's where I figured out the things that the carbs that really worked best for my body was, you know, cutting out that wheat, cutting out the white wheat, even cutting out whole wheat was huge for me. So it's going to be, I mean, and it doesn't mean you're not going to ever have white bread ever again. It just means that you're going to cut it out that much more, and you're going to find that you're going to have better results that way. And I think the mailman is here. So on here, if you're doing 6 weeks of the work, I would really just disregard this whole part on here just based on your weight, because I kind of think that's just bullshit. I wholeheartedly agree with following the calculation plan on here. Let me see. Hey, what else? Gizmo.
The mailman's not a bad guy. Leave him alone.
I'm trying to think of what else. I really do think it's very, very beneficial getting some deeper dive into your nutrition by using our Ultimate Portion Fix program. That's going to give you a lot more detail, a lot more reasonings why we eat the things that we do, a lot of the mentality behind all of it, and help you overcome some of those barriers that you might have around your food. But I can tell you, this is what gets me the results. I do change things up when it gets to be that 30 days before my competition, so I can start shredding out. And that's when I do what we call carb cycling. And carb cycling is only safe to do in a 30-day period. In my opinion, going low carb for longer than that can be very detrimental. When I do it, I get stupid. Like, there's no way around saying it. I get really stupid. Your brain needs carbs to function. And when you start cutting them out for long periods of time like that, it can be really, really scary. So don't be afraid of carbs. I'm just saying that. Okay, last thing I want to touch on nutrition is not built within the plan, but is super, super key. Water. Water is so crucial to you getting your results along with your nutrition. It's going to help things move along. It's going to help your body process the nutrients that you're putting into your body. So make sure that you're drinking definitely no less than half your body weight in ounces. But I can tell you, the more water that you drink, the more water that you're putting into your body is going to be that much better, because it's just going to move things. I don't know. There's science behind it, and that's what sometimes when I get stupid on the science. But when it gets closer to my competition, when I'm really working on shredding out, I drink 2 gallons of water a day. Okay. That's what 256 ounces. Okay. My minimum water that I need to drink is 75 ounces. I typically on a normal day will drink anywhere between 125 to 185 ounces of water. That's kind of my sweet spot. But when I really start needing to push that water out, to push the stuff that's jamming up in your gut, push that stuff out, that's when I bump up to the 2 gallons of water. Okay. Here's the science behind it. When you don't put enough water into your body is going to hold on to it. Okay. Because we need water in our body, right? So it's not going to start expelling water. But when you oversaturate your body with water, it's going to expel it that much more, and you're going to lose that much more extra water and extra subcutaneous fat that is, your body is holding on to it because it thinks that it needs it. So oversaturating is going to get you those results. Try it out. See if it works. The only thing that you're going to lose from it is you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot. Your body will also start adjusting more once you start drinking more and more water. So don't always worry that like day 1, you're going to the bathroom a million times. Day 2 is going to be a little bit less. So it's good. Water's always good for you. Okay, so I hope that answered a lot of the questions that you might have had. If you ever have questions on more detailed things, specific foods that I eat, really understanding carb cycling and how I prepare for competitions, I'm happy to explain that. If you have any questions on it, please let me know. You can either drop it in the comments or you can shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer those questions for you. But just understand that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to be perfect overnight. You're still going to have treats like cookies and ice cream, and you just have to learn to account for it, for one, not beat yourself up for it, for 2, because completely restricting your body of certain things is going to sometimes make you want to crave it that much more. So just know that we're all here to support each other and enjoy the journey. I'll talk to you guys later.